So, Manish I was checking your profile and saw that you've built and scaled team across multiple organizations, Yahoo, Sony, Z, Rediff, and now Wonders. So, yeah, looking back, what's one small decision early in your career that quietly changed everything for you?
Sure. So I would rather go a little earlier than before starting the career. And that changed the way today I am. So when I was a kid, I always wanted to become a doctor
Wow, doctor. That's interesting.
because my father was a doctor. And I think when you see him and grow and the family becomes home becomes your first school, you start getting a lot of inspiration from the people around you. And I thought that I can be a good doctor, and that it started setting in as the as your become start becoming your personality, right? So the
Yeah,
personality is you bring a lot of discipline, empathy, you become very detailed oriented because it's a question of a life and death of somebody.
great.
You have to be precise, and you have to be accurate in whatever you are doing, and that's how I started sort of growing.
Can I
But
ask you, Manish, like which branch of your father was in, or what you call it, like which department or something?
so he was a pediatric.
Pediatrics.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I saw a lot of, and then he was the chief medical officer and
Wow.
director, and then that's how he retired. Initially, when I uh, saw him in examining the patients and around him, I thought that I could do that, and that's a start setting in into your personality. But when I grew up and I was into my 10th standard and I had to choose my subject, that's when again I think there was a lot of influence from my parents, and then we
Hmm.
decided that I should take maths and go ahead. So I took maths, and that's how I got into engineering. But I think those
Was the father bit furious and the family like how difficult was it for you to convince it?
No, it was not difficult to convince. And I think being a doctor, he knew that if you are not passionate about what you want to do, I think doctor as a profession is not the easy profession. You need to spend a lot of time and then not only studying and after that as well. So
Wow.
being a kid looking at something and then when you want to be a professional, these are two different things. So he was very supportive in that sense.
Do you think like the parents were like you were fortunate to have such understandable parents because I have heard stories there are parents who wants to impose a lot of things in the no lot of their kids and yeah like what they feel is good for their kids they try to impose and then we have parents like yours and like mine who are very understandable and they leave it to us that you choose your passion, you choose your career, you choose your path. So, yeah, the question is were you fortunate? Do you
Oh,
think?
yes, more than fortunate, I would say, because he was not into this profession and everything was to be explored and decided by me. And I met a lot of people. It was way back in 88, 89. That's when I was sort of deciding which branch to take. And some of the folks and people I knew said, you should go for civil engineering. I said, okay, because civil engineering is the field wherein you lot of scope is there, and at that time government job was the thing, right?
Do
So
you
you will
think?
get a government job and you will all be set up. So I joined civil engineering. My father said, okay, if you want to do civil engineering, go ahead and do it. I did
Yeah.
civil engineering, came out of the college and started working as a civil engineer. So for 4 years with the friends and all other stuff, I worked. And then after
Yeah.
4 years, I said, I don't want to do civil engineering. I don't think it is my type of things.
Mm.
Then he said, okay, what do you want to do? I said, I want to go into software technology. So he said, okay, so what next? So I figured out a couple of courses and then I did the courses, and I
I assume this was early 2000 or maybe late 90s, probably.
late 90s. I completed my engineering in 94.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You are pre-internet era, right?
Pre-internet, yes. So
Perfect.
that's when 98 was the privatization of the ISP happening.
Yeah.
And it was sort of luck or whatever, I happened to join one of the first private ISP in India.
So can we say that that was the one small decision early in your career, like engineering to civil engineering, to then passing out, working for 4 years in civil engineering thing, and then deciding now भी time आ गया है कि I should go into software and let me do some code. So that is the smallest decision or something else. What do you think?
You can, yeah, you can say so. I think that was the time when I figured out that this is not my thing and I should change. And by then I was old enough also to take and decide such
Right.
things.
Civil engineering is not your thing and you want to go into the software and probably you would love it. Let's try it. Let's give it a try. Perfect. So for those who are listening, Manish has been at the center of India's digital and media tech evolution, I could say, for almost now 2 decades and maybe more than that. And I see from early internet days at Rediff, Yahoo, to building scaling teams at Network 18, the Hangama, Sony, now leading development and innovation hub at Warner Bros. What stands out to me, like whenever I discuss and talk with Manish, it's not just the titles, but the pattern, the pattern through which Manish has consistently built teams and systems at this massive scale under so much of pressure and I assume zero room for downtime because मैं ये वर्ड इसलिए बोल रहा हूँ कि जब भी मैं सोली लिप पर टेस्ट मैच देखता था तो मुझे लगता था यार ये क्या हो रहा है यहाँ पर बिकॉज आई वाज मोर यूज टू हॉटस्टार एंड दैट फ्लुएंसी तो हम आएंगे उस पर भी बात करेंगे so yeah this conversation will be about building technology and the leadership that survives and that kind of reality. Perfect.
Sure.
Are you in?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So you've been the VP, the CTO for a long time, and yeah, tell me about one leadership lesson that only became clear after you got things wrong the first few times.
See, yeah, it's a difficult one. I think, see
You have
what
to thought.
happens. Yeah, no, what happens, and I think um, when I'm thinking and looking back, this is something which you don't develop or get to know overnight. It's not that one fine day you get up and say, okay, this is something. And as I was saying, that it should become part of your personality, part of your lifestyle, and that starts reflecting in your leadership style. And there was certain attributes which I was talking about: discipline, honesty, empathy. I would say I was fortunate to work with my boss, Pinky Nishtala. He was the CTO at Rediff, and I got to learn a lot from him. And alongside Ajit Balakrishnan, who was the founder of Rediff.com and considered to be the father of internet in India, I was fortunate enough to work with both of these guys. And I closely observed these guys. I almost, for 8 years, I was in Rediff, and I was working and observing these guys very closely. And what I realized, that leadership is not about having vision, giving directions, but standing side by side with your team and giving them the empowerment and confidence that yes, you can do it. It's not that there are people who are not capable, who are not knowledgeable enough to take up or do anything. But what I have seen, that if you start seeding in the fear of failure, the even brightest of the guy will be hesitant in doing things. And what I learned, that during my early career,
Yeah.
these guys, especially my CTO, my boss, he encouraged me to not to have the fear of failure, and gave me all the support to experiment new things, try out new things, gave the challenges which was not ever tried out and built or done in India. So there were couple of projects which I did when I was in Rediff, that was first of its kind in India during 2003 4 time frame when I was there. And I think that then became my second personality, wherein I started working closely with my team members. I started encouraging them to not have the fear of failure, try out things. And that really helped out to do a lot of innovation. And the first lot of first we did in the last maybe 15-20 years. So that I, yeah,
Yeah. What I can
difficult.
take from this conversation, Manish, is like for the folks in their early career, and if they get mentors and leaders like you got, that has a long lasting impact on the personality and the growth of that individual. And definitely the reverse is also true. If you don't get pretty good mentors early in your career, you kind of deviate, and yeah, it's a very different journey in a way. So totally agree with you on this. So like from portals to TV, now to OTT platforms, and these OTT platforms, these are serving like millions of concurrent users at a time. So from technology and the company or the organization point of view, what do most people still underestimate about building and scaling media platform at this level?
Okay. So, see, the if you just look back in the last 15 or 20 years, or even the next 10 or 15 years, technology earlier used to change every 5, 6 years.
Yeah.
Now it is changing every 2 to 3 years. The technology changes and the innovation in technology is pretty fast. And what I have seen that people who are not able to grow professionally or not able to adopt to the changes are the people who are not ready to unlearn and learn new things. You need to unlearn a lot of things. Whatever was true probably when I started first time in 1998 is no more true now. Things have changed, technologies have changed, nobody is even talking about it. The way consumers are accessing your application, your services have completely changed. Maybe 15 years ago you have a lot of patience to wait for 5 seconds even to
Yeah.
page a load. Now you don't want to even wait for a second. You enter, and if the page is not there, you are out of that website, right? And it is not about only the page load time, the way you consume content, the way you navigate and explore the various information on the web has changed. So I think people need to unlearn and unlearn first.
Unlearn first.
Is the best, that is the most important thing before they start learning new.
Yeah.
And then I think everything falls in place. So I think
Exactly. Even with the internet and the speed going like in India, it has increased. Earlier, it was I think in kbps भी मैं ज्यादा बोलूंगा उससे पहले तो बाइट्स में आती थी और हम लोग खुशी से आराम से वेट करते थे कि हाँ लोड हो रहा है होने दो. And with the speed coming in, I think the innovation on the tech side has to be now. We have to use a good layer of tech so that we match up with the technology in a way. So yeah, connecting with this question, I think you have led tech teams through these rapid growths which you were telling. There will be a chances where there will be a lot of failures, platform failures, कंटेंट स्पाइक हुआ और एक जनरली प्रेशर रहता है टेक में कि कब चीजें फट जाएं ना वेले जो हम लोग बोलते हैं अपनी लैंग्वेज में. तो हाउ डू यू पर्सनली डिसाइड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स डिजर्व्स योर अटेंशन एज अ लीडर एंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स you should or you could intentionally ignore at
sure.
this moment?
So as I was telling you that my leadership style is slightly different, and to your point, yes, failure teaches you more than anyone else. So my way of working is to tell team what not to do because I have already failed, and there is a big cost you pay when you fail, right?
Yes.
And if you do not want people around you to do the same mistakes and fail, so I think initially when we were doing were a lot of failures, not one, I would say. But those were all, I think, gave you some learning. And the first big event, I would say, besides all other stuff, the first, I'm not sure whether you remember or not, that was in 2003 4 when cricket streaming was not the thing, it was all the scorecard.
Oh yeah.
And Rediff scorecard used to be the most sought after scorecard. We had some good sports editorial team, and then we used to keep on updating scorecards. And we had a data center in US. Now that
Okay.
data center in US at that point in time used to have a 100 Mbps Ethernet uplink. So
Hmm.
most of the time that used to be like 10 MB, 20 MB, and things like that. But during the special events like sports and all, it used to choke up to 100 Mbps. Then we thought that how we can distribute the content and things like that. So we learned a lot of things that we can't have the dependency on one network or infrastructure or whatever. We need to have the distribution of the content. And that is when the concept of CDN, content distribution network, and everything was evolving. So that failure gave us a lot of learning. And after that, when I was in Network 18, the first big event was the election, wherein Modi became the first time prime minister.
2014, we are talking about
2014, and we all knew that is going to be really a landmark election.
landmark.
We were
Yeah.
planning for it. So when we were planning for it, everybody was sort of giving focus on how many users, how many people can come and connect to the servers, how many servers we need to have.
Yeah.
The failure which we saw in Rediff during the cricketing event was network link getting choked, right? And
Oh,
then
yeah.
my direction to the team was, while you are building the network and the server infrastructure, the problem is not going to be there. The problem is you guys are going to get choked on the network bandwidth side.
On this big every time on kind of these big events जब भी आएंगे,
Yeah, because the
right?
streaming was just starting. 2014,
Starting
there
part.
was hardly any infrastructure. And I said,
Yeah.
you will choke in the domestic bandwidth. You need to go and take the users outside India, because there was a reason. Internet peering in India was not good, but uplinks to outside India was fairly good because most of the content was outside.
Yeah.
We shifted our content and the streaming outside India, and that helped us to sustain the traffic throughout the counting day. And that was, I think, the failure at one place, the Rediff gave in network AT.
टू वंडर कि ये इतनी जल्दी अपडेट कैसे हो जाता है। आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट, मैंने रेडिफ पे तो नहीं देखा बट ईएसपीएन का एक क्रिक
Crick, crick,
इन्फो, क्रिक
crick.
इन्फो, एंड देन अभी रिसेंटली तो क्रिक बस चलता है बहुत ज्यादा। क्रिक इन्फो वाज समथिंग कि हम लोग वही देखते थे बिकॉज टीवी का एक्सेस नहीं है या उस टाइम पर जल्दी से उसी पर डेटा मिलता था या वी आर ऑन द गो नहीं देख सकते थे। तो आई यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज थिंक कि यार ये कैसे वर्क करता है, एंड एज अ किड मूविंग इनटू योर टीनेज आई यूज्ड टू फिगर कि यार पक्का कोई तो बैठा होगा ग्राउंड में जो वहां से अपडेट करता रहे, राइट? तो थोड़ा सा अगर आप बैकग्राउंड स्टोरी फॉर अ लेमैन यूजर जिसको नहीं पता कि बैकग्राउंड में कैसा होता था, एंड नॉट इन द टेक्निकल टर्म्स बट अ वेरी लेमैन टर्म्स,
Yeah.
तो आई वुड
So
लव दैट।
you are right. Actually, in 2003-4, there was no feed, scorecard feed or whatever. I mean, ClickNext, ClickBuzz, all these guys came in much later. So when we used to publish the scorecard, there was actually a TV in the editorial section.
अच्छा।
Somebody was looking at the TV and updating the scorecard in real time. And
ओके।
that was the rigor, and it was not only about the scorecard. There was editorial team, and they used to write commentary as well.
Oh yeah,
And
we used to think ki someone is writing so fast and explaining it the way the radio guys, or because even in the radios they are watching it on our TV and they are explaining it with their perception. वही लगता था। Yeah, continue your story. तो starting
yeah,
ऐसे ही
so
रहता
that
था।
correct. So that is how it started, and then later on, once it became very popular, there are now companies offering you that feed, wherein somebody is sitting at the ground writing those scorecard and commentary and everything else, which is going to feed as a feed to everyone. So everyone
Everyone, and
gets the
you could
feed,
use
and
that
then
feed, and through
yeah,
your APIs or something, you are just putting a layer which is or more user friendly and doing it. But the core
yeah.
crux, you are getting it. Wow, pretty interesting. Now I can understand because I have been working in the tech and can understand कि क्या होता होगा. But yeah, love to know this from you. Okay, fine. One last thing, I guess. One popular belief about this engineering leadership, or you say this digital transformation in the media space that you strongly disagree with. A popular belief which you strongly disagree with at this stage.
Can't think of actually. So you are
नहीं,
putting
कुछ
me
तो
on the
होगा कि yeah, like I'm definitely, yeah, this is something pretty hard thing, yeah, you have to give it a thought। होगा कि इंजीनियरिंग लीडरशिप किस तरीके से जा रही है, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन मीडिया में कैसे जा रहा है, आपको लगता है कि ऐसे नहीं जाना चाहिए था, या आप थोड़ा सा डिफर करते हो कि स्ट्रांगली थोड़ा सा डिफरेंट हो सकता है या बेटर हो सकता है या एक डिफरेंट पाथ पे जा सकता
See, I would not say different path pe ja sakta hai, but yes, that's a part of the business. And again, when you are at a uh, not at a leadership, I'm saying at all level, you need to align yourself to the business objectives, because eventually at the end, it is all about how much value you are creating for the business and how that business is monetizing what value you have created. So at
So
times,
can I say that दिस इज द स्टैंडर्ड बिलीफ, ये होना चाहिए। बट क्या कई बार ऐसा होता है कि इंजीनियरिंग टीम एंड द लीडरशिप, दे आर मोर ऑन द इंजीनियरिंग, एक बाइस आता है, लाइक आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट द मीडिया इंडस्ट्री एंड द डिजिटल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन देयर, बट व्हेन आई एम वर्किंग इन स्टार्टअप तो मेरा जनरली रहता है प्रोडक्ट टीम और टेक टीम का एक अलग ही बाइस होता है। उनको कुछ थ्रिलिंग करना होता है कि कुछ तो नया करें, मैं रिपिटेटिव नहीं। एंड ऑन द बिजनेस साइड आई एम लाइक हे कनेक्टेड टू द business goals, the objectives, the revenue part. Something like this happens in the media industry also.
no, everywhere. No, everywhere. And that's what I was saying, that when you, as a technology, I would not say so much as a product, but technology, you feel that this is something which gives you a kick and we should be doing it, right? But business feels or that they will not be able to monetize, or the industry is not ready right now for this and we should not be doing this now, or we should be doing something else, and then the prioritization of the business comes in. And I can give you a couple of examples from my previous stint wherein we were the first one to start something, but I think the market was not ready. And again, go back to Rediff days wherein Mr. Balakrishnan, who was, I find he was at least 4 to 5 years ahead of the industry and thinking way ahead of it. And that really gave us a lot of, I would say, thinking and everything else. We launched two services, which was ahead of our times. One was the Uber on mobile without internet, right? So we launched a service wherein anybody can book a taxi, Kali Pili taxi, using the SMS, because
Oh wow!
internet was not there.
Used to call it some short service. Now it used to trigger with the SMS something. I'm forgetting the tech word for it. Yeah, SMS
Based, some USSD based service wherein you
service. Yeah.
get a message, you send the request, and then we will. Internet was not there. We tried, but the concept was that people need taxi service on the mobile whenever they want without even looking at it. That did not work at that time, and later on, Uber and Ola came in. It was, I think, 3 4 time frame.
13, 14, when geolocation came into players, GPS, phone, smartphone come.
Correct.
So that was era with smartphones, a lot of new businesses come into place with the launch of hyper local and all those things. जब geolocation आया तो फिर ये सारी चीजें बनी. But I remember I can USSD बोलते थे या कुछ तो बोलते थे. The same tech through which all these telecom services used to run, like you write a message and put a recharge or something, it used to get recharge or some way.
Correct, correct. Yeah,
Okay,
it was.
hello tunes or something, it
Yeah,
used to deduct your balance, or maybe you put this message and you will get your what is your balance right now. Am I
yeah.
right? That kind of
Was
same service.
USSD services. So that was one. That from technology point of view, we thought that this is the need of for the consumers, but the market was not ready.
Like, way
Similarly,
before your time. Way
way
before your
before,
time.
way before. The second was, I think we launched ahead of LinkedIn. We launched Rediff Connections, which was creating the professional network of the people. But at that time, I think 2004 5, again, the it did not do well. But later on, LinkedIn came in and it started. So I think that's where I feel that a lot of things can happen, a lot of things can be done differently. But because the business requirement and the market readiness, we are not doing, and rightly so, we are not doing because we probably at times get emotional. Our engineering kida kicks in and say that we need to do something. At the same time, I think it is important also to have that because it gives you a lot of flexibility to innovate things, think differently, and
Exactly, right, totally agree. I told you that that was the last question, but अब मुझे लगता है कि एक और तो बनता है,
yeah,
right?
sure.
Something like अभी जो senior engineer है, let's say some aspiring CTO who is listening to this today, and he or she wants to build a career like yours. What is one habit or one skill they should start building before they chase, titles or companies or something like that? Just think of it, one skill or one habit.
See, what I have seen, and I'm saying again, I don't want to sound like a very philosophical, but there are a couple of things which I feel definitely, and I talked about that briefly. You need to unlearn a lot of things and learn. The second thing, which I think I do it personally, even now also, and I feel that there is no age for learning, and there is no particular teacher to give you that learning. You can learn from everyone.
Yeah.
And I feel that we started hiring a lot of campus folks and
Yeah.
campus people, and people think that when somebody from campus is coming, you are mentoring them. But that's not the case. I found that when you start talking to them, you get to learn more than what they are learning from you, because
I
they
can relate that. More than campus, I'm just adding myself when I am talking to these folks which are in 8th, 9th, Gen Z.
Hmm.
And I love talking to Gen Z just to understand what they are understanding the world, what lens they have, what's their requirements. Because high time that we will be building for them. We are at that stage, so we need to understand what's
no, the
their opinion and learning
100%. I
from them.
mean, that is one aspect of it. The as other aspect of it, in which I realized it's not only about campus. Yes, you are right. The people in that Gen Z and Gen Alpha also are
Then
now doing. They always challenge the status quo.
mm,
You can't tell them that, oh, you go and do this. The moment you say you go and do this, they will say why.
yes,
Why I can't do it this way? Why it can't be
yeah,
done this way? So they
agree.
bring in the different perspective. They don't just accept the way. In my time, I would say, if my manager is telling something, even if I have a different perspective, I will tell once in a subtle way, saying we can do it this way. But if my manager says, no, no, it has to be done this way, okay, it has to be done this way. But these guys, they can't do that. They always challenge status quo, come
Which
up
is
with
a
a
good thing, which is a good
yeah,
thing for an organization right now. And yeah, that's the reason you say that being at this stage, we have to unlearn a lot of things. And always we have to unlearn a lot of things. The way we have been treated, the way we have worked through our career and the path. Yeah, like things are changing and that is changing for good,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Of course, yes.
Perfect. Nice talking to you, Manish. And as I like when we meet offline, I love interacting with you. More than that, your humbleness and humility, and yeah, always yeah, that's very inspiring for not just me and on the other folks which knows you. And yeah, thank you so much for taking this time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pratik, and thanks for your time. Thanks for having that interactive conversation. I really enjoyed talking to you as always, and I learned a lot of things from you. Also, the way you think, the creativity. So that's what I'm saying. The school is now global. You can learn
Yeah.
from everyone.
Anyone. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. Cool. Yeah. Final thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks, Pratik.